This thing is long. What's that? I got short.
Yeah, 1 minute.
We're gonna raise it?
You good? Roseanne, you good?
Lift it up.
I can't sit. Oh, all right.
I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Conservation Commission Inland Wetlands Agency to order. Watertown Town Hall, 61 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, Connecticut. Roll call, please.
Craig Palmer,
Here.
Tom Murphy. Here. Ned Dalton here. Joe Paletta,
Here.
George Tupans. Luigi Cavallo. Here. Pierre Moran. Here. Charles Bellevaux. Mike Jett. Here. Ed Norton. Here.
3. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak? Just come to the microphone here, ma'am. And just got, you can sit. You can turn on and make sure it's red.
Very good, thank you. Hi, good evening. My name is Kirsten Berube. I'm here with my husband, Paul. We live on 1315 Northfield Road here in town, and we are here to express our concerns with number 1267 Northfield Road. I see that it was on the agenda for this evening, so we would like to come address our concerns, please. We are here as concerned neighbors. Over the last 2 years, we have asked the Planning and Zoning, as well as the Animal Control Officer, for assistance with concerns regarding barking, boarding, and training of dogs at his home. Only recently has Animal Control met with our neighbor regarding our concerns. They addressed several items with our neighbor that they saw of issue. We do continue to maintain a bark log regarding that end of the issue as well. Back in the beginning of March, Mr. Mossad emailed me stating that our neighbor is indeed in violation of zoning regulations. He reached out to our neighbor in mid-March and received no response. I have reached out to both Mr. Mossad and Mr. Ramo to see why there has been no follow-through of this matter. Recently, Mr. Ramo told me that he was going to speak with Mr. Mossad and ask him to reach out to me. I finally spoke with Mr. Ramo's assistant, who spoke with Mr. Mossad. Finally, today I received a copy of the letter that is being sent from Planning and Zoning regarding those violations. As regards to the inland wetlands, we are now concerned that with the taking down of the trees on the property, that he may be looking to expand his commercial business into his residential property. And also, there was a request for an installation of a fence as well. We are concerned that if animals are going to be housed within that area, within the wetlands, the potential damage to the environment that it can cause, as well as if the water is being diverted, how that could possibly affect our land as we live downstream from that water. And we have our septic tank and our leaching fields located in our backyard adjacent to his. Such environmental concerns will be a great impact to us, and we just wanted to share our concerns with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? Anybody on the Zoom? 4, action on the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, before you do that, do you want to seat Mr. Judd for George Tupans?
Yes. Action on the minutes, A, regular meeting, April 13th, 2023. Did everybody receive the minutes? Any questions or errors?
I'll make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from April 13th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain for lack of presence.
Thank you. Motion carries. Pending application. Application 2023-3 of Durin Shababi for the construction of a shed and play area within upland review area at 8 High Meadow Road, Watertown. We've done a site walk there. I don't know what else. Do you have any new information for us tonight?
Can you please come and sit there and introduce yourself, your name and address?
I am Dritan Shabani. Nice to meet you all again. And I'm okay with whatever you guys are approving on the lot, so pushing the fence line back. So,
That day we had some discussions on how far we're gonna move that fence line. I think we came up with 15 feet. Does anybody else have any comments here?
I believe it was 17 feet.
It was 15 feet,
15.
17 feet to the tree.
Yeah,
We
15.
said if we went to the tree, it'd go another couple feet past that, so we said go 15 feet and 2 feet between the fence and the tree. That's what I recall
Right.
as.
So, I mean, usually you have to come in with some type of plan. There's something that says what you're doing. You can't just say what we're approving. You're gonna come up with a plan. On this plan here, we don't have the size of the pool. We don't have the size of the shed. We gotta know what you're actually doing there, how you're gonna protect the wetlands. That's not up to us.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm just clearing it out.
But you're working in the upland review area. We have to have some type of plan.
We have the plan, Musa, right, with the pool?
Mr. Chairman, I put this in your,
This is the one that's
Yes.
the old one.
This is the old one. There's nothing here about 15 feet or a fence or anything.
but that can be done on this map. If you want to make a decision on it, it's up to you. Just for your information, and on the site, you discussed about the percent building coverage and impervious surface coverage. And I just passed a copy of the zoning chart from the site plan for this property. And if you look at that, the maximum building coverage for this property is allowed 15%, and the house covers only 3.4% at this time. And the lot coverage in impervious area is 25% maximum allowed, and at this time, they have only 6.3%. Just putting that swimming pool and a shed doesn't go over the 15% building coverage. And also for your information, the swimming pool is not an issue in front of you because that is outside of the regulated area. I already issued a zoning permit. It is just moving the fence and filling that area, the 15 foot that you were talking about. That is in front of you at this time.
But we still need some type of plan, on how he's gonna, the erosion, we have nothing in front of us. I've never accepted anything without having some type of plan.
I mean, what are
Any
you
other
looking
questions?
for exactly? Because all I'm doing is just clearing out the brush, taking the fence posts out, literally pushing them back 15 feet, putting them back into the ground. That's all I'm doing.
We still need a plan, that's how far you're going. Somebody's gotta survey or mark that 15 feet. It's gotta be marked off. It's not by word, it's a written plan. So if you're gonna write up something, there's gotta be something here. Because when we go back a year later and you're 20 feet, we're not doing that.
I thought we were just going to draw it down on the map, that it was going back 15 feet. I thought we were pretty clear on that.
I think that what we try to do is try to do the same thing we do for everybody else. Just have something so it's on file, and you know that you're gonna go 15 feet, and you show where the fence is. I mean, even if you do something yourself, but it's gotta be with a date and your signature, so we have it on file. But verbal means nothing.
Yeah,
Tomorrow,
it already opened up at 17 feet, we agreed it was 15, the site interpreted as 15, I could be wrong, so I mean, that's already just right between Saturday and today, there's miscommunication at some point. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's the way I've heard it. It doesn't, so once it reduced to writing and sign it, then we know we're committed on it.
which is, it's no big deal, but just put it down on paper.
Okay.
And you
Mr.
gotta-
Shabani, I think you can use the plot plan that you already have, and on this map, it shows where the existing fence is.
Yeah.
And then measure 15 feet, 17 feet for the fence and 15 feet for the fill area, and just draw on this map and bring it to my office. I can present it to the commission for the next meeting.
I think we agreed on 15 feet with the
15
fence.
feet? With the fence?
Yes.
Oh.
And then the 2 feet goes to the
Because
tree.
the tree was 17 feet.
Correct.
there.
Right,
We
that's
take
why.
2 feet off
I
that.
do said 15, okay.
Okay.
And somehow you're gonna, the erosion of that bank, when you go and fill, I don't know how much fill you're putting in there.
Not much.
I know, but we don't know what that is.
So we prove it with
that as a condition?
It's up to the commission, as far as concerned, you should have something before we approve it.
Right, well, it can be approved. If it's turned into.
But don't we
Yes,
have
no?
to know how much fill there's gonna be
Well,
brought
that-
in?
you're
Because
right,
that's
we
a
need
zoning
all-
issue
It's
too.
offensive if it's gonna be necessary.
Right.
You
They're-
have silt fence, hay.
They're not bringing any fill from outside. The area that they are digging for the in-ground pool, they use the material to fill that area.
That's right.
And they're not bringing any fill from outside, are you?
I don't think so, because
Yeah.
that area, it
Right.
has a nice taper going down. I mean, if anything, we're just gonna use the material from the pool and just, use that.
I just think you should submit something for next month. It's not gonna be the end of the world. You
I
should-
kinda wanted to get a head start on it, so.
Right.
uh,
It's up to the commission. I think we should have a plan.
It's not a problem. Me and Musa can hook up and I can write down whatever you need. It's fine. But I didn't know that I needed that for today's meeting.
Make a motion pending is
That's what we gotta decide.
sending in to Musa, 15 feet.
Well, it's up to us, yeah, that's what we're discussing. Yeah, yes, you could.
I mean, can you give us some kind of plan that maybe even give it to Musa? So that way we'll have it on file. And, I mean, I don't have any problem seeing something, and even if we have a chance to have a special meeting. But we gotta have something on file, so it's not gonna be confusion after the fact.
No, I understand. I just didn't know I needed that for this meeting. That's why I'm kind of thrown off. I didn't know I needed that, so, but.
Like, we can't tell if you're gonna move, or is your plan to move the fence just straight back, or are you going to try and, move, it's, basically what we're saying is it's 15 feet.
Yeah.
Every post 15 feet
Yeah,
back.
yep.
So it's gonna end up with the same line
Where
as
that bend is, I want it to just go straight. So where that tree that you guys measured up to, there's another tree that's on the bank, that's on Fern, is exactly in line with that tree. So I was
Right,
just
so
gonna
that's-
use
That's what we
that.
need to see, right?
Yeah, okay.
You don't have a verbal, but you have it in writing.
What is it?
It's not a verbal thing, but it's in writing, you
It's
have.
gotta be,
you have a-
you're working in upland, this lot was already a restricted lot.
Yep.
We've already had 2 sidewalks. So, we've been there already.
Can we make a motion to pass this application pending a new map submitted to Musa with the 15-foot setback drawn into it? And with the restriction of no additional fill other than what comes out of the pool hole?
Not sure. I mean, I'd like to see what it looks like. It's kind of hard to tell with the brush, but,
Well, that's why you need,
Well,
that's
that's-
what the plan is for. That's why you need,
Yeah.
kinda should have an engineer or somebody that knows soil calculations
Right, yeah.
to make that. You need to come
Yeah,
up
an
with, okay,
engineer-
this area, you wanna build up 2 or 3 feet, you can figure out how many cubic yards
An
that
engineer
takes,
can
and
tell
you
you
get the.
exactly how much you need and how much you'll get out of your pool.
Right,
They're not, the
You know.
calculations could be done in 10 minutes. It's not,
you don't need an engineer to do it.
No,
And
but-
It's a pool, it's 10 by 10 by 10 feet deep, it's X cubic yards, so it's, but you can figure it out as long as you know how to figure out soil calculations, but we need that. Because that's going to be, all that material is going to be in the upland review area.
motion to table application 2023-3.
Second?
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So what you're gonna come up with even if you write it out yourself, write on that map, get it staked out. Moose or Paul will come up and verify that and then have it ready for next month.
If you come to my office, I will explain to you how to do it,
Yeah.
and then bring it back to me. I will present it to the commission at the next meeting.
okay.
B, application 2023-4 of John Nygren for the construction of a new driveway within a regulated area for a future barn located at 0 Sunnyside Avenue behind 567 Sunnyside Avenue, Oakville.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant called the office and his plan was not ready and asked
Okay.
me to ask you to just table action on this application.
Make a motion to table item 5B.
Second.
Motion's made in second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. C, application 2023-5 of Juan Carlos Correa for the removal of trees and installation of a fence within the regulated area at 1267 Northfield Road, Watertown. Is that applicant here tonight? From 1267 Northfield Road?
Apparently not.
Have you heard from Musa?
We sent a copy of the agenda to them, and they knew that tonight is the meeting.
Okay.
Because I think the
He told them that the
owner's
Yeah.
wife was on the sidewalk,
Right.
and we mentioned at what time and where the meeting is.
Oh, we're not here, whatever. Do we do move
We
on?
can just take
Table it or
Yeah.
discuss it?
We have to table.
No, if,
Wait, okay.
yes, if he's
Too many
not
open
here,
items.
just table it.
Make a motion to table item 5C.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Just for your information, because you have until June 17 to make a decision on it, still you have time.
But he was,
It's not our fault, he didn't show
He's
up.
supposed to be here.
right, but he was ordered to stop working. There's no
Yes.
work in
He's
that.
not doing anything in the wetlands.
Right.
Yes.
Except for throwing the dog crap.
6, new applications. A, application 2023-7 of Aptar Group for the advancement of 8 soil borings and 3 monitoring wells within a regulated area at the Phillipson property located at 1456 Main Street, Watertown.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
I am Christina Venable. I'm with Ramble, and this is my counterpart, Michael Rinker, who is representing Aptar, the property owner. We have, the investigation at the property is being required by the state as part of the Property Transfer Act, and so we need to go down into the upland review area. Most of our work is going to be within the upland review area. Only 2 locations will be within actual mapped wetlands. We're required to go down there and do some environmental investigations, including the installation of 3 monitoring wells and the advancement of, it was 8 or 9 soil borings.
Will that be done, how will that actually be done? What kind of machinery or?
So actually, I have a
Okay.
picture. Sorry. So this is an example of the type of machinery that we'd be using. It's a direct push drill rig. It's on rubber track mounts. It's relatively small, typically about 4 feet wide, maybe 6 feet long. And it basically just works on hammering down a 2-inch tube into the ground, which then gets retracted, and then that's how we collect our samples.
Right, so you won't be making any roadways or driveways?
No.
That machine just goes over what's there?
Exactly. It's built for off-road
Right.
and tight conditions. So that's no road building, nothing like that. We don't envision, the only permanent things that we would be leaving would be the 3 monitoring wells in that
Right.
area.
And to monitor them, you just walk to them?
Yes.
Correct, you're not?
We're not driving to them
No.
or anything like that. It
Right.
would just be walking to them.
Right.
And right now, we're just sampling once. That's the plan.
Right.
They may need to be sampled again in the future, but we're not talking, I don't envision, we're not going to be there enough to
Right.
create pathways, from walking to the various locations.
Any questions from the commission on this?
When you want to start the work?
Probably this summer, if we can,
This summer.
once we get approved, probably go ahead. Have to look at the conditions, because there is basically a giant wall of Japanese knotweed to contend with to get to the actual work area. Once you're down into the work area, the knotweed goes away, but, so we may postpone it till it dies back, or we might do it and just kind of forge through the knotweed that's up on the hilltop there.
Okay, the reason I'm asking that question, because this is a new application and the commission cannot make a decision tonight.
Understood. No, no,
They
no.
have to
I-
wait at least 15 days.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the next meeting is in June. I mean, it's okay with you that wait until
Yeah.
June?
That is fine.
Okay.
Yes, that's understood.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to come to the next meeting or anything, no.
Okay, great.
She doesn't
I
have
was-
to come next meeting, no. We're just
No,
gonna-
she should be here.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
in case of it. What are you looking for? I mean, any kind of contaminant that you know that are,
We don't know. This
You
is
don't
part
know.
of what's called a Phase 2 investigation. Basically, that is where you go in and you look to see if there have been releases. So we don't know that there have been at this point, but as part of the requirements by the DEP is you have to investigate areas of concern, which in Connecticut, an area of concern is pretty much anything. Like it's like your trash cans are areas of concern, your septic tanks are areas of concern. So we have to investigate those. And so we don't know that there's any contamination there at this point. That's the purpose of the investigation, is to see if there is, and then we would come up with a plan to address any contamination that needed to be addressed.
okay. At that time, if you have to remove contaminated soil in the
gotta
town,
come
that
back,
will be
yeah,
subject
yeah.
of another application for the
Yes,
commission.
yes,
Okay, because this is not going to cover that part.
absolutely, understood.
Okay, and also, when you submit your report to the DEP, can you please share that, like a copy to the town, to our office?
I should be able to, yeah,
Yes,
I think so, yeah, okay.
we always ask for a copy of the report that is submitted to DEP.
Now, just to be clear, it may be a while before we
No,
submit something
whenever,
official.
whenever
Okay.
you submit a report to DEP, please share a copy with us.
Yep. Just
Rich,
making
I
a
have a
note.
question for you as well.
Oh, yes.
Typically, how far down do the boreholes go? Second to that is how, like, the monitoring wells, how far do they go and how long do they stay? Depending
So-
on the site?
So we're anticipating, because the bedrock's relatively shallow out there, we're not anticipating even
You just
being
go
able to
to
go down past maybe 5 feet. And and the monitoring wells would be the same,
So you
similar.
just go down to bedrock pretty much?
Again, not having done work down there, I don't know, bedrock could dip. I
Right,
just,
right.
up on the top, you can see bedrock outcrops right
Yep.
across the street. And we've already attempted to drill up outside of the area and have hit bedrock. So, we're not really sure, we're not trying to go to bedrock.
Just for my own edification.
Yeah, it's just, we're trying to get groundwater. So we're hoping, because it's relatively, even with the stream at that point, we're thinking we shouldn't need to go more than maybe 5 feet into the subsurface to get groundwater. The soil borings, we're not looking for groundwater there. That's just pure soil samples we're going to take.
Yep.
But still estimating about 5 feet for all of those locations. And as far as how long that the monitoring wells will stay, that really depends on what we find. The program requires that you do 2 years of compliance groundwater monitoring. So at a minimum, the monitoring wells would be there for 2 years. If you can't demonstrate compliance within those 2 years, then it could go longer. And then, and so it really depends.
That's
And
good. I need that.
I think you completed the inside cleanup, right?
I'm sorry, say
They
again?
cleaned the inside, right, didn't they?
We're in the process
Yeah.
of doing investigation. They did do a decommissioning, like a decon and
Right,
decommissioning of the building when they moved out.
Yeah.
But now we're in the process
Oh.
of doing the, environmental
Right.
investigation of the property as a whole.
Thank you.
I have a question as well.
Sure.
And this is necessary to transfer title? This is necessary for you guys to sell the building?
Yes. It's, the Connecticut Property Transfer Act is, it's a complicated act, but basically it's if a property is an establishment, it can be if you were ever a dry cleaner, if you were ever an auto body repair, ever did furniture refinishing, or if you ever generated more than 100 kilograms of hazardous waste in any 1 month. And that is how this property has gotten into the program. So it's a complicated, there are other like nuances that, to the thing, but that's basically it. And that, they got into it because they were a hazardous waste generator at the site.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, we're good.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Motion to table, application 6A, application number 2023-7.
Motion made in second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Old business. A, notice of violation issued to the owner of 30 Jericho Road, Watertown.
No new information, Mr. Chairman.
B, discussion on application review process by the agency. So can we just schedule a meeting for next month before the, and,
Yes, we actually wanted to have a
I
meeting
know.
tonight, but the town attorney was not available.
Right.
That is why we didn't schedule it.
we've carried on this for, I don't-
Okay, sure.
We will just schedule a meeting, and if
Sure.
he has questions after that, that's fine to me.
Okay, we will do it before the meeting next month.
Yes.
Okay.
Discussion on CCIWA application fees. I think Commissioner Jed was looking at some of that, or no? Or-
Yes, actually,
Oh.
I want to thank Mr. Jett that he did his homework, and he submitted some papers to us. I want to share with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just take one and pass.
Yeah, these are just some area towns of my own choosing. I think it's about 10 or so different area towns, and I modeled what Watertown bills as far as their fee schedule, and I put a spreadsheet together based upon the categories that Watertown has, and then compared them to what about 9 or 10 other towns are doing. Some are different, some have special considerations, some have some additional fees that Watertown doesn't apply to their applications, but it's just for general reference at this point before there's actually a meeting on it. And I believe the first page on here is a comparison of the same area towns setbacks from water courses,
Yeah.
from named wetlands, or named water courses, wetlands, and some other special considerations.
I just
know.
added another page that is the details of our fee schedule in Watertown. And
I also know some towns charge per square footage of the upland review that you disturb that's built into the application.
I believe it's actually whatever on the map that you propose.
Yeah.
It's per square foot or per acre, a lot of things. And it's all listed, there's a column in the end that's special considerations. And some towns are, you can see it's per acre, per square foot. It's vastly different between the towns. And then you look at Bethlehem, they don't have zoning, so that's a completely different story, but it's still in there.
I just think that like some of these applications we get, people just put anything in there because why not try to see if you get away with it? But if there's a lot that's, gonna be disturbed 90% of the upland review area, it might make them think twice before adding that into the subdivision.
For a new subdivision, if they come in front of you, you should look at that. But for existing lots, because they're existing legal lots,
I agree.
we
I-
have to allow them to use it
I don't think we should
Yes.
punish, Uncle Joe that wants to put a shed up.
yes,
But, somebody that's coming in with the 20-lot subdivision.
yes.
And they're gonna try to throw 2-3 lots into the upland review just to make us try to fight it. I think that could be a way that people think twice.
That makes sense.
We can discuss this at the next meeting, or?
Yes, actually,
Every-
for that meeting that you have before the meeting.
Right,
For
yeah.
review, the regulation
Committee.
subcommittee,
Right.
and you can discuss it there too.
Paul, we don't have any named water courses now, correct, in our application?
No, not specifically, Mr. Chairman. It's just, I believe it just says water courses.
Right, wouldn't you think that'd be a good idea here, especially in the Steel Brook watershed and?
Yeah, or
Turkey
Waddles
Brook?
Brook, things
Right,
like.
'cause I think,
Hop Brook, there's a few. But there's, I believe there's only one or two other towns, I think Southbury and Woodbury, the only two towns that have a further setback for named water courses. But
It looks like Middlebury based on your.
and that can be done on existing lots, correct?
Our major water course in Watertown is Steel Brook, which is unfortunately both sides is developed. Most of it, yes. There's not that much land left there.
Huh? They're not named water courses, correct, right?
Correct.
But Steel Brook starts all the way at the north end of town,
Yeah,
right? So it could be protected from there down.
right.
And D, notice of violation issued to the owner of 1267 Northfield Road, Watertown.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just table that because
Yeah.
we tabled the application.
Make a motion to table all four, correct?
Yes.
Make a motion, we table items 7A, B, C, and D.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. A, new business, none. 9, communications and bill. Darlene Everett, Jeffco letter dated April 23rd, 23. I think there's a copy of the letter in here.
Yes.
I don't know if the secretary would like to read it.
I am here. I am Darlene, if you'd like me to.
I was gonna have our secretary, but you're welcome to come to the mic.
Okay.
But our secretary will read the
That's
letter.
fine.
All right?
Yep.
Unless you want to become, you can join the board and be the secretary.
She offered to read this, you know. So, letter here dated April 23rd, 2023, Town of Watertown Conservation Commission, Inland Wetland Agency, 61 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, Connecticut, 06795. To whom it may concern. Excuse me. After reading the April 20th, 2023 Town Times article, resident makes complaint about machinery in wetland area, I felt the need to clarify some facts and request answers of the Inland Wetland Commission to some questions I have. Factual clarification of the April 10th, 2023 wetlands disturbance at 542 Davis Street, Oakville. The Watertown website states Watertown Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency seeks to maintain the integrity of the town's watercourses by a process of stringent reviews and permitting. The commission receives and acts on applications following a thorough evaluation and review. Applications are given conditional approvals and denials. The 542 Davis Street building site plans clearly state in the general notes, point 8, the Watertown Inland Wetlands Agency exercises regulatory control over activities in or within 100 feet of wetlands, areas, and watercourses. EPM Development, LLC, Eric Markowitz, had plenty of time, 2.5 years, to submit an application to the Conservation Commission in the Wetland Agency and follow proper procedure prior to the removal of the tree from the wetland area. Had this happened, less disturbance to the site was possible and no need to get permission to encroach on neighboring properties. The dates detailed below clearly show that. June 12, 2020, EPM Development LLC, Eric Markowitz, purchased property located at 542 Davis Street. August 2nd, 2020, a large tree fell over the existing brook and into the wetland area of 542 Davis Street. August 28th, 2020, permit is granted for demolition of existing single-family structure on the lot. April 7th, 2021, approval is granted for construction of new 3-family structure. November 3rd, 2022, permit is granted for construction of new foundation for a 3-family structure. January 23rd, 2023, permit is granted for construction of new three-family structure. April 10th, 2023, Eric Markowitz crossed into a wetland area and maneuvered a large piece of construction equipment to remove the fallen tree. John Everett contacted the police to report the wetlands violation. The police in turn contacted Assistant Wetlands Officer Musa Rafi, as the police did not have jurisdiction in this matter. Musa Rafi allowed Eric Markowitz to continue operating machinery in the wetland area without a submitted application or permit granted by the Inland Wetland Commission. April 11th, 2023, EPM development crew continues to alter wetland area further by building a stone channel, raking out disturbed area, and planting grass seed. Eric Markowitz had every opportunity between August 2020 and January 2023 to apply for approval from the commission to remove the tree during the initial demo and construction phases of the project, but did not. Access from Everett Lane was not necessary during this time period. Instead, poor project management left the tree needing to be removed after demolition, construction, and landscaping was in place. Assistant Wetlands Officer Musa Rafi overstepped his authority on April 10th, 2023. EPM Development LLC never submitted an application. A stop and desist order should have been issued on the spot until the commission had the opportunity to evaluate, review, and decide on the proper course of action as stated in the agency's posted mission statement. I have 3 questions. 1, why have Inland Wetland Committee of one person unilaterally and negligently acts on behalf of the entire uniformed group? 2, who will be responsible for any possible future watercourse issues should they arise? The town of Watertown, as the Inland Wetland Agency, allowed the disturbance to take place with no due diligence on the part of the commission? 3, why are the rules applied to some residents and for others these same rules are treated as mere suggestions? I look forward to your response. Darlene Everett Jacovino, 4 Everett Jacovino,
That was
Oakville.
supposed to be Lane, sorry.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah. 4 Everett Lane, Oakville, Connecticut, 06779, and phone number.
Is all the work completed now, or no? I haven't.
As far as I know, but to be honest with you, you should know that more than I should,
Right.
but
No, the tree was a discussion at some point.
Right.
last week.
No.
Oh, okay.
Years
Yeah.
ago.
No, it's.
When it
the-
fell,
the
there
tree-
was an issue.
The tree was labeled, it had ribbons all over it that said wetland, it was mapped out wetlands, whatever. So it was known that it was on a wetland area. And not only was the tree down, like I said, poor project management. They did all this work, they put down sod, I think the day before, blocked off any access they had to the location. They had to drive this piece of machinery right over Weller's Brook onto this wetlands area, maneuver it around, and the whole purpose of this, it was, I'm not that familiar with construction equipment. It was large, it had this long arm. It was allowing the tree company to cut the pieces up, and they moved it because they didn't want to disturb their lawn. But in the meantime, they're driving all over the wetlands. And that was when John Everett called the police officer and basically the incidents that happened, as I mentioned. But yes, that tree was down for 2.5 years, and that tree could have been addressed when they were ripping the house down. He could have done the same thing, but from the opposite side, never having to touch the wetlands, he could have done the same thing, lifted the pieces and moved it. But either way, the tree was on a wetland area. That application should have been submitted to you. You should have had the opportunity to review it, just the way you're doing with these individuals who are trying to put a fence. And as far as I know, it didn't happen.
But it sounds like Musa came out to the site. So,
Yes, I did.
while it was happening.
yeah, but that's his entire job, so it sounds like it was well done. We're all volunteers here, like,
Yeah,
Moosa's sole purpose is to act on the behalf of the commission when we're not in session, and it sounds like he did that.
No, 1 second, though. That's fine, but the tree, like I said, was documented. There was no plan for 2.5 years.
But it,
No plan was
and I'm
submitted.
not arguing with that, but there was a situation, our wetlands officer came out, made a field determination, which is very common. So it sounds like everything was followed exactly the way it should have been.
You honestly feel that this was handled properly?
I mean, there was a situation,
The
Our
situation
agent
was
came out.
caused by Markowitz because of the fact he didn't deal with it prior to having to cross into the wetlands.
which I'm not disputing any of that. I'm saying there was a situation, our officer came out, he made a field determination. That's very common, that happens.
Yes.
Right. on something
If your
like that.
septic fails, Musa comes out and he gives you a permit for a new septic because you need a septic.
I did the original site walk, I don't know what happened
Right.
after, but we went down, and I remember, I think John was there, and the tree was through the whatever. But then, I thought there was a discussion of,
Right.
half the tree was yours, or
Somebody's, not
somebody's.
Eric's.
It wasn't his, and there was a little discussion there
Of
about
whose
whose the tree
tree
was,
it
which
was,
we
right.
don't know who the tree was. Half the trunk was on your part, I don't know, they went back and forth that day at the sidewalk. But I
Right, which had
thought,
nothing to do with us. That's not why we were there.
well, they were there talking
But
about what
it
they were
was
gonna do about
discussed.
the tree, like you said, 2 years ago, or
Okay.
whatever.
I guess my question
So-
is this then, at this point. I just heard you asking an individual to put in writing exactly what he was going to be doing because of the fact that down the road, exactly what you just said
Right.
could happen, and there's no written description of what was supposed to happen or how it was supposed to be handled. So why, sort of like I'm saying, you just, and I'm not saying, I mean, you asked, you're doing your job, you asked that individual to provide documentation, you're putting off his application for another month, and now you're saying the same rule does not apply in this case because, again, 2.5 years that tree sat
Right.
there.
Right.
So
in-
maybe
in my-
as chairman, I've scheduled more site walks than any chairman. This commission would rather see me go because we go look at everything. And we went and looked there. I can't speak of what happened. Believe me, we have a list of all the active permits. We are doing our diligence to watch what goes on, believe me.
Was-
I mean, something like that, you have, in my opinion, but you have an issue with a dead tree. It can be acted on, even in the wetlands, but you can't, you're not supposed to disturb the roots. That one, the roots were disturbed on its own, so you're correct in
But-
the fact that it's
Yeah.
2.5 years it sat there. It
Yeah.
wasn't an emergency. So
Right.
is there something there?
But the issue
but the
isn't
end of-
necess-
hang on, let me
Okay.
finish. The end result is that had to be removed, and the way they were doing it could have been better, but at this point, it was, I didn't see it happen, so you may know better than me on this part. But if that was the least disturbance, and that's what Musa decided, was this is the best way that we can remove this at this point, and that's what he decided, and that's what was done. If he thought there was gonna be an issue, he would have stopped it.
And just for your
Okay.
information, when I went there, the tree was already removed. It was already done, because the police officer called me, when I
Right.
went there, it was done.
So,
And I think that in a situation like that, it is a good idea to remove that tree from the water course, because that can flood the whole area. I mean,
Right.
you
Should
should
there have been-
appreciate what
yes,
happened there, because your property is on the other side of the brook. If that tree was in that brook, and we had like 3-4 inches of rain that we get this storm nowadays, and your property could have been flooded. I mean, you should send a cake for them that they did this job for you.
No.
Yeah, and
my
plus he
other
came to
question
you, and plus he came to you to ask you that if you allow him to go on the road to remove it. You said no. That was the only way.
I did not, it's
Yes,
not my road.
Mr. Everett, yes.
I'm just,
And that is the only way that he could have reached that tree to remove it, and I'm very happy with that.
okay, I have one other question. Okay,
Yes.
so the tree itself, but the following day, Not only did he remove the tree and lift it out and save his landscaping and everything else, they spent an entire day in the wetlands, in the Weller's Brook itself, building a channel with stones and everything else. That seems a little bit more than affecting roots. They were changing the water course of Weller's Brook, possibly. Who knows? Maybe it is better for all I know. But the thing is, again, you can go look at it. And I honestly thought that after last meeting, my understanding was that when you did your site reviews for the 3 applications in process, somebody mentioned that you were gonna come and take a look at this. But and my issue, to be honest with you, is not with Mr. Markowitz, it's with the fact that in one respect, you're asking somebody to provide detailed information about moving a fence. We're talking about an active brook, and right now, this winter was probably one of the wettest ones in history in quite some time. Because there was a time when people said, it's not even a wetlands, or is it not? Is it yes? It's definitely a wetlands. There's flowing water through there. He not only moved the tree, but again, put a wall in there.
For that activity, he had a permit. When we approved the application for the 3-family home, that was a part of it, that he has to bring the water and sewer from there. That was a part of the permit, and he has a permit.
The water and sewer are coming from the front of the property, not.
Yes, no, it came from the other side.
I'm not talking,
Yes.
they did a
She's
channel
saying that
in the
where
wetlands
the
area
tree
where the
was,
tree was.
They
Yeah,
redid that.
whatever
had
they
nothing to do
did,
with the water or
whatever
sewer.
they did, it was the most logical things to do. Period, that's it.
No, I think we'll come down and do a site walk,
We should do a sidewalk.
just to see. I mean, and like you said here tonight, I try to,
Right.
everybody follows, whatever. And that's why the fence, everybody follows the same rules. So,
I'll say one thing on that. So we do try to have people put stuff in writing. Okay, we'll ask them to do that often, as you just heard. Sometimes people don't tell us what they're gonna do, and then they all of a sudden do it. And so when somebody brings something up, Musa did say that this was part, the channeling of the water was part of it, but how they go about it and exactly how they do it, sometimes we don't know, and that's why we often ask to put it in writing, but, sometimes it's out of our purview or out of our scope, we don't know, and they just do it. Right. And so to bring this to our attention is a good thing, we'll go see it.
all right.
Okay.
So what we'll try to do, I don't know, Musa, if we can, who's ever available to go, and we'll just pick a night and go down there and look. So, does everybody want to go, or just a couple of us can go and report?
No, you want to go to see what?
Just the work that
What
she's
talking-
explained.
I just want to go
Okay.
see. Just,
Just to
Make
make
sure
sure
it
it
was
was done
it's-
properly.
It's up to you. I mean,
Right.
whenever you want to go, you go. Actually, it is now stabilized and all the grass is growing and everything.
right.
And we have permission to walk on your road, sir?
Yeah,
Okay.
do I have 2 seconds?
Now, remember, you did the plaque. No, wait a minute, what about the cake?
2 seconds.
The cake?
Oh, no, Moose will bring the cake. Go ahead. Don't worry about the cake. Don't talk anything else about, other than wetlands. No zoning, no.
Here, you can have this one.
Okay. The whole thing is not the tree. The tree is not the issue, okay? Because the tree belonged to 3 parties. I owned the stump.
I remember something.
Markowitz owned the
Yeah.
tree. But my sister, which is in Ivy, she owns part of the tree. But the tree was not an issue, okay? And that's why the police department had a problem when they came in, because they actually called him. His conversation, okay, according to the Town Times, says that he addressed Mr. Markowitz, and he said that I said he could not use my road. Now, every one of you possibly have a paved driveway. That machine weighs 10 to 20 tons, okay? I'm a senior track mechanic
Remember,
in the
we're
service.
gonna stick to wetlands issues,
I know that.
not about the
But
driveway.
you were talking about the wetlands and I'm sorry. Anyway, he says that, and I wasn't in on that conversation, but he said that Mr. Markowitz said I would not allow him. Well, of course. nobody is gonna, not one of you are gonna allow a track loader on your pavement, okay? It's not gonna happen. You can't do it on a federal road, you can't do it on, okay, so that was the beginning. And then it went into other things, but I don't wanna take the time.
No. We're
If
gonna
we
co-
get
we're gonna come
together,
down and-
I could, and that 2 years ago was a decision, was it a wetlands or not a wetlands? Mr. Pelosi said there was no wetlands. Well, after you went down, okay, that was flagged. And those flags were actually on that tree. But enough, just the fact that you're gonna come
Right.
and we can talk about this and
Yeah,
then we'll
right.
see.
How much notice do you need? Does the office,
You have my cell phone number on the bottom of the letter. I work for the Waterbury Police Department. I can easily come, leave, and I can make
Okay.
up the time at any time. So you tell me when you want to be there, and we will be there.
okay, the office will notify you of that.
No, Mr. Chairman, you have to take a date now and pick a date
Okay.
and time.
What's good for the commission?
I cannot go until after work, right?
Yeah.
4 o'clock, 4:30.
5. What's good for everybody else?
It's fine.
5?
5 o'clock next week, you want to go?
Next week is no good for me. I can do Monday or Tuesday next week.
The week after, you want to go?
Either Monday or Tuesday next week, or
No, but
Week after.
Tom said,
well, week after, or no?
Yeah, it's better.
Week after is Memorial Day, so it starts Tuesday on.
So just do it Monday.
Just do it Monday.
Monday night.
Okay. We're gonna do it Monday night at 5 o'clock.
next week, Monday?
Okay, I'm going to ask you to come on Everett Lane, because again, I don't have the authority to say you can go on Mr. Markowitz's property. So you are invited to come onto our property to take a look at it, because you can see it from there.
Right, because we don't want to go on some.
Right, exactly.
I have permission for my sister's property.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, she's the next one up, right?
Can we
Going
get the
toward-
heck out of here and get out of your hair?
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Email from Roseanne D'Amelio to the commissioner members dated 5/3/23 regarding attendance at meetings and sidewalks.
The reason that Roseanne sent that email to everybody because of our experience in the last meeting, if you remember, we were waiting for Mike for 15, 20 minutes because we didn't have a quorum. And it's a good idea if you want to come to the meeting or if you cannot come in, either way, please give us a call or an email. Or even you can text Roseanne. You left your cell phone number with him?
Right.
Only if you want it, but you can email us, because if we don't have a quorum, it's better to
Right.
know in the office that I
Right.
can cancel the meeting, because it is not fair for the applicant and also for the members that they are coming to the
Why
meeting.
can't
Sometimes we
Roseanne-
And
don't
then
know
wait
that we're
here.
not gonna be able to make it.
No, but why can't Roseanne send something out? When I first joined the commission, the office always called.
Call everybody?
Only if,
Well, I used to get a phone call, maybe because she liked me or something.
yeah, but only
I
if
don't know, I mean-
she usually only calls if she knows some people aren't coming.
Right, but I mean, if you could just send an email out and reply yes or no,
Well, yeah, but I'm not in front of my email all the time.
or to
Just
your
call.
phone, text it to your phone.
Just call.
Sometimes I don't know if I'm coming until 5 minutes
Well, as long as we have a
Right.
quorum, as long as she knows the quorum, she doesn't have to ask anybody
Right.
else.
We have to know.
It should be on us to call if we
Right,
can
but-
make the meeting.
What if you don't know?
If you can't make it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you cannot make it, says, okay, Roseanne, I
No,
can't.
but we have to know that we have a quorum or not, because if we don't
Right.
have a quorum, it's easy to just cancel the meeting. And you don't have to come.
No.
But
I'd
it
like
is
her to see-
unfair for the
I'd like to
applicants
see
to come here and
something
sit
sent
for
out.
2
That's-
hours and then no meeting.
Right.
How we decided? I mean, Roseanne
She-
should call
She
everybody?
should send something out. You don't have to call, you can send an email or a text.
I think Musa
Yeah.
should call everyone.
And then the answer should be yes or no. I mean,
Yes,
you are
right.
coming or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Make a box that they can check. Yes?
Everyone's schedule is so.
We're volunteers, that's a paid
Okay.
staff.
I just want you to know that don't be on the bad list with Roseanne, because then she has a stake and she knows where you live, okay? She will come after you. And she has a big SUV.
We don't do the tables too.
Okay,
Yes.
please let us know that if you are coming or not, okay?
Do we have to make a motion on that
Accept and
sidewalk?
file?
Yes, 5 o'clock on Monday.
What's the date? I'll make that motion.
I make a motion, we do a site walk on May 15th, 5 PM, Everett Lane.
At the end. Motion made and second. Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. 10 reports from officers and committees, right?
That was very nice of you that you really want to go and see this, because this was just like communications and bills. But it is good to go and see what's going on, because you will have a better picture of this.
Well, that was
And that's a sensitive project.
Accept and file
Sorry?
It's been a sensitive project.
9A.
9A, accept and file.
Okay, you need a motion to accept and file
File
these
A and B,
communications and
right.
I
bills?
make a motion, we accept and file 9A and B.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. 10 reports from officers and committees. Chairman's report. Moose, I noticed when I drove by Buckingham and Echo Lake where they're building that new gas station,
Yes.
that there isn't a piece of brush left. When we went on the site walk, all these trees were tagged that weren't gonna get cut down. There's nothing
I
left.
thought on the west side they were supposed to keep those some trees.
They cut every tree down. Now, I know we discussed it. I didn't have the time to go look through the plan, but there's nothing left.
It's barren, it's like a desert.
It's desert.
The other thing that's weird is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
driveway that's supposed to come out on 262.
There's two driveways, one
They
from
finished
262
all
and
the
one
way
from.
across, it looks like they're not gonna do that.
No,
What do you mean?
right.
It's, they've like graded topsoil
Yeah.
all the way down
Yeah.
262,
Yeah.
the edge of the road there, and like finished it. It's like
Have
they
you been up
changed the
to-
plan, but
Have you been up
that'd
there,
be
Musa?
fine because
Yeah.
it's close to
Well, they
the.
cut there's
Yeah,
not
I
one
went there
tree
to
left.
check the cell fence and everything was installed,
But they
yes.
cut all the trees, I guess it'd be the west side?
I
That
can,
wasn't
I
gonna
have to
be
check the site plan to see what's supposed to be left and what's supposed to be cut. Then I will
Pretty sure
have
we
a
had
better
couple
answer for
trees
you.
on there were gonna stay.
I think there was only maybe one tree on the west side that we were going to keep it.
Well, there's none.
Right. Yeah, they took them all.
Yeah, it's clean.
Well, but I don't know if we
Well, we
kept
just,
it in
we
the
just
book.
need to look at what was approved.
Yeah,
What everything was, 'cause it was
I don't
discussed and 50
remember.
Things were talked about, and I
Yeah.
don't remember what. we-
I don't remember, I have to look at the
I
site
thought
plan to
every-
see what was
A bunch
approved.
of trees were staying, but.
When I went to look at I looked at some deeds, when they talk about what's on a deed and what's restricted and all that. What I have a hard time with is, when we talk about these wetlands issues and it's, High Meadow Road, whatever, when that lot, where do those notes get moved over to? So when I come in and I say I wanna buy, 18 Troll Lane Road, and they come and see the clerk, and she says 18 Troll Lane Road's a building lot in Watertown, whatever. Where does, these notes are in the air?
In the land use office, in our office, like these permits that we issue,
Well, so I go down and look at the deed and I go through there.
they're not in the
Beyond
deed.
I don't think
No,
it
but I
could be
looked
on
at, I was looking at the subdivision on High Meadow.
Yes,
There's nothing there.
there should be a deed
There's a deed
for
there, yeah.
each lot.
There's a deed, but the
Could we-
restrictions aren't on your deed.
The restrictions aren't on your deed, so we tell them about, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't fertilize your lawn, you can't pave your driveway. Where does it go?
No, there stays in the land use office.
I know, but how does-
Because
how
the
do-
permits are there.
Can
Well,
we,
there's a few things. Deed restrictions
mean nothing?
run out.
No, those
They
are
mean-
by
they mean-
Some have to
developer.
be renewed. Some
those
of
are
them
by developer.
revert back to the
Right, but
developer. It's all kinds of stuff.
But the deed restrictions don't have wetlands issues on them.
No.
So when we talk about a lot or whatever, Lake Winnemog.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever was supposed to be in that, so if I come in, I'm a developer, I go, oh, look at a 4-lot subdivision.
The-
Where does that get put?
Okay, the conditions of approvals will be on the final Mylar that they file with the town clerk office.
Right, but so when do I come in and I see that?
Yes.
If I don't know to ask for that?
Yes, if you go to the town clerk office, you ask him that, I want to see the Mylar for that property. And then all those conditions of approvals are there.
How many people would you say come in and ask for that before they buy a house?
Nobody.
A good
Like,
title
there
search
should
is
be
fine.
something on the deeds, like where
No one hired
it's like a
Nothing on
bullet
it.
point, where it's like, Wetlands Commission at time of
Yeah.
approval,
Yeah.
like recommended that this site like, has low
Yeah.
fertilizer.
Where do you wanna put that?
On the, like, just a,
They don't put it in the deed.
You can't put it on the deed.
no, but.
Can you, but the deed restrictions are not enforceable and they run out.
Well,
I don't
they
know, when I
should-
started looking at
They should
them,
be transferable.
And we
Because
don't,
Some
Project
are,
we
some
just did
have
on
to be
Sperry
renewed, it
Road.
depends how they're signed on, and of course, depending on who writes it.
we spend all this time
That's-
going all these
the developer
sidewalks
doesn't
and then
want
it
it
just.
and just for your
Unconditional,
information,
the
the land
developer
use
wants it to run
office,
on.
the land use office don't enforce deed restrictions.
Yes.
They are between the developer and the owners of those lots, and also if there is a homeowner association, they enforce those things, not us.
But the Mylars are only for subdivisions, correct?
Yes,
So when we have a single lot
yeah.
that has a huge wetlands issue, it's nowhere to be found.
But that should be like on those conditions of approvals, when you approve the subdivision.
No,
all
no, no,
those-
so a single lot, where does it go for a single lot?
Because on that approval for the subdivision, it says that lot number 4 should
No,
be
no,
this.
no, an individual lot.
Individual.
I'm gonna go buy a lot.
Every
only-
lot.
Yeah, that is says in our office, it doesn't go into the deed. I mean, that is something that you can talk to the town attorney if you can.
Every lot is a
It
subdivision
just,
of some point.
yeah, some poor soul
Yeah.
are buying these lots that are extremely restricted, and it's not fair to them, like, they
No.
just want a playground for their kid.
Yeah.
But yet they come to us and we're the bad people
Right.
that say,
Yeah.
no.
That's why you should hire a good title searcher.
Well, whatever, I didn't say, I don't know. I didn't say we spend all this time and to me it's a
Right.
waste because it doesn't go anywhere.
ZBA decisions have to be on the land records, but I don't rarely seen it, or remember seeing it in the wetland,
Yeah.
other than a
No.
subdivision, seeing as
Well,
part of
The
the.
problem is with the Mylars, so we talk about a subdivision in January, right? And in June, the Mylar appears. So they asked me to come up and sign it.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, I have a regular job, so I do have a couple of things on mind. So you want me to sign this print that I haven't seen in 6 months? These prints have no notes on them. It's nothing that we discuss is on the, I don't get it.
I think that should be something that should be discussed with the town attorney to
Right.
see what we can put in the deed. I
Right.
don't
If-
think that
if
we
we
can
could
put
get 'em
those
to
things in
show
the
up
deed.
somewhere, we would.
Yes.
Yeah. The problem is that, you know, the Realtor tells them whatever they want.
Yeah,
You know, the Realtor goes in and tells them, well, that fence in the back there, that was put up for the something, just don't worry about it after you buy the house, do whatever you want.
Worked on it for a while.
And that's what happens. And how many times I hear the same story? I didn't know, we didn't know, nobody tells us anything, well,
Trolling Road was the same thing.
there you go.
Well, that's the.
Oh,
the
they
big
moved, they
one.
sold,
Multiple
it. They
times.
sold and moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now
all
there's
the
a
time.
Put up a fence before they did,
family
though.
that's gonna work.
Yeah, no,
Well, we gotta figure out some way to get around that, though, because that's ridiculous.
I think if the town attorney comes at the next meeting, it's a good question to ask him that how we can enter those into the record.
right. It's only gonna get worse as there's very few lots left in Watertown, well,
Well, the good, easy lots.
The good lots are gone.
yeah.
The easy lots are gone.
Right.
Until
All right.
you get to Judd Farm. Some more.
B, report from Wetlands Regulation Review Subcommittee.
Heard the same thing.
Meeting.
I have heard nothing. It's been probably 2 years since we had this, our committee, we submitted the final regs to get reviewed by the town attorney. We've had nothing but crickets.
So we're gonna discuss that at the next meeting,
5:30, right?
yes. Let's make a motion.
Make a motion, we accept and
Table
file
it.
10A and B.
Table it.
Table.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Reports from staff, agent determination, application 2023-6 of Ryan Phillips for the installation of above-ground pool and deck within upland review area at 70 Meffingle Road, Watertown.
I issued a permit for a above-ground pool with deck for that address.
And then status of ongoing construction projects. As you can see in your packet, we got a list of all the wetlands permits that are active, correct? I'm sure that's how you.
Yes, do that.
So when you go for a site inspection, are you going at 25% of the project, 50, or what's the interval?
No, the only time that I go for inspection when somebody wants to develop a land, like a lot,
Right.
and before they put the foundation, I do an inspection to make sure that the anti-tracking pad and cell fence is
Yeah.
in, and also the engineer should stake out the location of the foundation.
Right.
I inspect those, and then I issue the foundation permit.
And basically, you
Yes.
don't go back.
And then I go back when they submit the foundation as built. And then I issue the permit, and then at the end, when everything is done for CO inspection, we go like 3 times. Yeah.
Can I ask a question on this Steiner Inc. here? 4-lot subdivision. Wetlands approved 3-lot subdivision. Planning and zoning approved 4-lot subdivision. What happens there? Because I hate how we're not, there's no continuity between us. Because I feel like they're going to sell off this 4th lot. And some, again, poor homeowner's gonna come back to us and be like, I wanna build the home of my dream for me and my cute little kids. And we're gonna say, no.
That's a very good question, and I did discuss that in the office. What happened, the Planning and Zoning Commission closed their public hearing before the Wetland Commission make a decision. Normally, they wait.
Should they come to us first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that typical?
No,
they did.
it was at the same time they can submit to both commission.
Right.
They can do that. But normally, Planning and Zoning Commission doesn't make a decision until you make a decision and report to them. I send them a report that this is the approval from the Wetland Commission with these restrictions. But in this, let me finish, please. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, my
Yes.
fault.
And in this case, what happened, they closed the public hearing, and then they made a decision. Their decision is based on a map is dated 2022. And by the time you approve, it was 2023.
I think it was 21. The original map was
No,
21.
the one
Yeah.
that is submitted for signature, that is
yes.
dated 2022.
Okay.
That is the one that the Planning and Zoning Commission approved.
But planning and
But
zoning.
it doesn't show the restriction that you put on that lot. Yes.
Yes, but planning and zoning, at the time they voted, knew that we did not approve the 4th lot.
Yes.
And they decided anyway to go ahead and approve it for zoning purposes. And it just provides no continuity in between the permitting process for the next homeowner. It's not your fault, it's,
I think our chairman should have a discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission chairman, that they should wait until the Wetland Commission make a decision and report to them. And that is the law requires, that they have to wait until you make a decision. I think I suggest that if our
with that
chairman
one-
have a discussion with the
Right.
We ended
PNZ
up
discussion.
approving 3 lots? Or did, so
No,
the 3
we-
lots?
approved
No,
4.
let me clear that.
With a huge
Let me
amount
clear
of
that.
restriction.
You approved the subdivision as submitted to you, but you put restrictions on lot 4.
Right.
If they follow those, there is no room for a house to build on that lot.
Right.
There is no room.
So we basically.
If they put that conservation easement, the stone wall that you propose, and also the 50-foot upland review area that they cannot go into, there is nothing left on that lot with, other than that a little triangle corner of the lot. That, there is
someone's
no
gonna come
way you
try
can
and
build a
do
house
that.
on it. Yes.
So the developer is gonna own a lot for the rest of their life?
I think this is still, they didn't approve it because our chairman didn't sign the Mylar yet.
And I wouldn't. Well, we gotta get a legal opinion on that, because who's right?
I'm sorry?
Who's right on that when we're gonna have to get
I
a legal
didn't-
opinion,
I
right?
I
think
didn't
we
sign
are right on what we
Right,
did in
we're
this
right.
commission, but I cannot talk on behalf of the Planning and Zoning
Right.
Commission, yes. I think if our chairman wants to
Yeah.
talk to
And
them,
once the public hearing's closed, no more information will be submitted to that committee, correct?
yes,
Correct, yeah.
yes.
So then P&Z barred any additional information from coming for.
They ran out of extensions, right, Musa, I think?
Actually, Wetland Commission's decision supersede that restriction,
No, I
the
understand that.
65 days. P&Z doesn't have to worry about if they're waiting for wetland, it can take whatever they need,
I
yes. The 65 days is only if they already received the report.
No, I think
But
it
in
was
that
having-
case, they
having to
have
close-
time to wait.
No,
until-
not the decision, but I believe they had to close the hearing. They had to run out of extensions to do
No,
that.
they didn't have to close
I
the
don't know
hearing,
then
because
why-
they were waiting for the Wetland Commission.
I thought there was an issue with timing and all. Okay.
No.
Because I've never seen this before.
Yeah, the
And
statutes
Wait, you
allow
never
planning
seen-
and
you
zoning
never seen
commission
either,
to.
Paul?
Nothing like this, no, where P and Z didn't respond to the wetlands' final, conditions or
Right.
plan that was approved.
It creates confusion in the marketplace, and somebody's gonna take advantage of that, and there's gonna be somebody in front of us in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's gonna watch their life get taken away, because they maybe already bought the lot, and now they own something that's gonna be worthless.
Well, that was my point about the notes not getting.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where this is stemming from.
Yeah,
And
but it's the
there's-
same
yeah,
thing
right.
again, where it's
I-
like,
Yeah,
our own planning
Right.
and zoning
Yeah.
board is making it a mess for
Yeah.
us, and then we're gonna be the bad guys, because planning and zoning is gonna approve that for a single-family home, they already did.
No, actually, you are protected because, as I explained before, they have to put those conditions of approval that you get on that Mylar. And it wasn't there. That is why I think the chairman didn't approve it yet. They didn't sign off on it.
we gotta do anything.
And if those conditions of approvals are on the Mylar, whoever is the buyer, they can see that, oh, these are the restrictions on this lot, they cannot build it.
As long as they get to see that.
Yeah.
Yes,
But that's where the problem lies, to me.
ask for it.
I know, but I'm not buying the, I don't know that, but yeah.
You don't
So
want that one?
should we request a meeting with P and Z and the town attorney to find out?
That's a good
one,
idea, yes.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Authority, are they supposed to act before we do, okay, close it? Two is, and then the thing I'd be concerned with is, for the chairman's sake,
Yes.
what liability does he incur if he signs a map that he knows is wrong? That he, I mean, obviously
You
he
don't
can't.
sign on a map that you
He's
know
not gonna
is
sign no
Yes.
map that's definitely wrong, but if he signs it and he finds out after the fact that it was incorrect, what happens? Who's
Like-
responsible?
Right, the problem is there is a time delay there,
Yeah.
and I don't remember every inch of the.
Right, and so there's, it's, I don't know if it's by design or what, but it definitely is not a good process.
I'm getting old, 63.
I leave it to Mr. Palmer to see how he wants to handle it,
I
yes.
say we have a, set up a meeting,
Oh, we should have a
P&Z
meeting
and-
with the
town attorney and the.
town manager, and yes, we'll work on
This
that.
is all gonna come full circle pretty quick when the 80 acres across the street goes up for subdivision.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Paul, has anything come to your office across the street? I've seen signs behind the Blazy property across the street from this Steiner development here.
We went
Pending
mo-
land use signs directly across the street on the lakeside of Lake Winnemog.
I didn't see that, and I don't know
They've been up
anything.
for a few months now.
And they mowed all that and everything, right?
Yep, they brush hogged everything alongside the lake.
No, I'm not aware of what's going on.
And there's pending land use signs directly across the street. So I didn't know if anything came to the office
No,
yet.
nobody came to the land use office.
Okay.
What do they do with the sign?
I think it was the
good?
wind blew up.
Just make a motion to table that, right? B?
Mother Nature.
Yeah, motion to table, what is it, 11B?
Before we do that, who's gonna basically request that meeting? I make a motion
Chairman.
that the chairman request a meeting between the appropriate parties, P and Z, and town manager and the town attorney.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion?
Another meeting.
All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? One.
Monday at 5.
Who's that?
Anybody
Okay,
from the,
then the best way to do it, that, Mr. Chairman, please write a letter and send it to the Planning and Zoning Commission and ask for a meeting.
and the town manager?
Yeah.
Well, whoever you want.
Right,
Yeah, no, it should be official. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, get everybody.
You coming, Paul?
I'll come.
Yes.
Anybody from the public wishing to speak? Yes? I know you didn't get many answers tonight, but we're,
Ruby, 1315 Northfield Road. I understand why you tabled the application for 1267 Northfield Road. Can somebody please explain to me why you tabled the violation?
I'm sorry, what was the
It's
question?
not tabled, it's, the violation is still holding. We
Right,
can't
but-
discuss it anymore because there's nothing to discuss. No more to discuss because they weren't here. There's nothing more we can do about it tonight. The violation is
It's
still
just
holding.
continuing it
They
till
can't
next
cease and
meeting, that's
desist.
all.
They can't stop work order, that's all in place.
So is that until he decides to show up here to have the conversation with you?
He's supposed to be here tonight.
Okay.
I don't know what is the reason why he is not here, but he still has an opportunity until June 17th.
So,
And we have a meeting in June. that he come here, because you don't want to discuss somebody's property if that property owner is not here to respond to your questions.
Okay, and no disrespect, I understand what you're saying to me. However, I've been dealing with him for the last 3 years. Mr. Masad from Planning and Zoning reached out to him on March 13th, and Mr. Correa chose not to respond, and there has been no follow-through on Planning and Zoning. He had the right to be at the site walk that you took at his house. He chose not to be there. He had the right to be here this evening. He chose not to be here. And I apologize, but I'm getting so tired of this man doing whatever he wants to do, and there is no accountability, there is no follow-through. I feel that it was his right to not come here tonight, but in return for that, whatever you guys decide is what you guys decide. He could have been here, he chose not to be. And I don't think it's fair that this issue keeps put out and put out and put out and put out because he chooses not to come.
If you look at our agenda, it says that if public hearing is not held, then a decision is required by June 17. He has one more chance to come here. And if he doesn't come for the next meeting, the commission will deny his application, and then we give it to the town attorney. He has to deal with the town attorney.
You notice violation still stays in effect.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Well, the application is kind of ridiculous at this point anyway because it's after the fact. He's already done the damage. He's already,
Well, he needs an application to fix what he's done.
We have to follow
Okay.
the state statutes,
Right.
yes.
Right, so he can't do any more work within that area. So,
If you do see him out there in the area, make sure you call the office, or you can call the police department, and they can get, hopefully not a hold of the chairman, but.
That's why you get the $50,
So all
man.
that-
That's why you get the $50.
okay.
he can't work out there and he can't do anything
No.
to it, but he needs a permit to, or whatever else we can do for when he has to
Okay.
fix the problem.
Thank you for clearing. I was thinking
Yeah.
that he had to backtrack because he didn't get the permit to begin with, that he had to go and apply for the permit that he should have gotten in the beginning. So thank you for clarifying that it's a permit for what he now needs to do to rectify what he's done.
Yes.
They do have a public participation at the town council meeting, because you're dealing with two departments here, or whatever, two commissions, so it probably wouldn't hurt you to go to the public participation at town council meeting and state your.
Do you know offhand when that meeting
It's
is?
the first and second,
I think there's 2 a month, right?
2 a month.
Wednesdays.
Mondays.
Mondays.
The first Monday, and
First and third, right?
first and third.
So
It
next
should be on
Monday,
the
one
town.
Monday, yeah, this coming Monday.
Next
one
Monday
this
is another
Monday?
town council meeting.
Should be, yeah, I don't know for sure.
And I think if, you gotta look at the agenda, I don't know if Roseanne, is the public I don't know that.
It'll be on the town
Is
website.
there? There is I don't know that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right.
sir, I
All
appreciate
right.
that.
Thank you for coming. Is there anybody on the public, Lori? No. Lauren. Adjournment at 7:48.
Recording stopped.
We're done.
That was a hot one. Sweet, I wasn't expecting that.